and welcome to Retro-Cars Denmark. Today I bought an Alfa 159 with engine problems. I've always been very fascinated by Alfa Romeo. I think every true car enthusiast are. So I bought this model quite cheap and picked it up on my trailer because we have very rough idling. So as I mentioned, very rough idling and a lot of misfires. I got the car home and tried to investigate a little further. I changed all the spark plugs and I changed the ignition coils. As you can see here, it's one solid block. I changed that. I changed 2 cam position sensors, and I have just ordered a new solenoid for the exhaust size. When I hook up my computer, I get error code for exactly this solenoid. I think it's P0013, but I tried a lot of things. Also changed this membrane in the PC valve, so the cam exhaust system. There was a little crack in it, so I think that made a big difference in the idling of the car. I also changed the oil and the filter, so I'm quite excited to see how if it's gonna run. As I mentioned, we need to change this solenoid on this side. I'm not a car mechanic or anything. I'm just a car enthusiast, and I viewed a lot of videos on YouTube as to how to get info and where you can. What can be wrong, and also you can do a lot of research on the internet and find out yourself. So I'm very excited to see how it goes. And just before I go, I'll mention I had this at my workshop. My local mechanic did a compression test, and we had a low compression on cylinder number 3. I don't think we have an actual problem with the car. He was quick to dismiss it and said it needs a new engine, but I think he's wrong. It can easily just be carbon buildup on the intake valve, and if they are not able to close properly, we will also have low compression. But let's see. I hope we don't have a stretch change, but I can't get any error codes of stretch change. So I'll change this solenoid as I mentioned, and we'll give it a go. I forgot to mention the engine in this Alfa 159 is a 1.9 liters petrol JTS engine, as it's called. It's derived from the GM Ecotec engines, so very similar and used in a lot of cars. It's almost similar to the 2.2 JTS, but with smaller cylinder size. So it's a GM engine, but I don't think that I don't think that's a bad thing. You can get a lot of parts cheap if you find the GM number instead of the Alfa number. I also gave the engine a liquid moly Pro-Line engine flush before the oil change, as these solenoids are very dependent on clean oil and correct oil change to time the camshaft on both the intake and exhaust system. So this is the old solenoid, and I tried to clean it and also measured the resistance. As you can see on these 2 points, you can measure the resistance. It was I think it was 12 ohms, so it's probably good, but the computer came up with error on this one, so I just ordered a new one to give it a try. So I just connected the battery again, and the solenoid. So let's give it a crank and see how it goes. This is the first time I tried to start the engine after my change with the solenoid, and I think we got a big change in the idle now. There's not too many rough idling. It fires a lot better than before. We have a little vibration, but I don't think it's too bad. So I'll give it a drive and see how it goes, and maybe pull the engine close again to see if there's a new problem here elsewhere. I also cleaned every connection to ground and checked all fuses, so not to make sure everything was okay there. I'll give it a go and see how it goes.